Hey, we're live. Welcome, everybody. Rob Provenci here from NoBS Photo Success, along with my buddy,
Good looking compadre.
comrade, one of the most handsome Canadian photographers in the world, John Butler. So, before we get into our introductions, I just want to give you guys a little bit of a sort of a prelim introduction to who our guest is. You know, I was just reading on my phone the description I put on the blog on the Facebook group yesterday, and I was like, well, how do I introduce Chad? I said, well, the first thing that popped into my head was, well, do you want to become a better photographer? Join us with Chad Pennington, and I also mentioned the fact that Chad has an amazing grasp on posing, shooting, finding locations when shooting, and a whole bunch more. Now, before I introduce you, Chad, I just want to show the screen, and there it is. Let's hope this works. There we go.
I'm not seeing it yet. Oh, I'm seeing it come up. Okay, I guess I'll show it for you.
Oh, is it going in repeat mode?
There we go. Not anymore.
What'd you do?
I didn't do nothing. I just added it. It went repeat mode for a
I
second.
know that. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Chad, this is from a couple of years ago when we originally had you on back in 2017, which seems like yesterday. And I had this little promotional piece. I don't know, maybe that was from you. You have all kinds of awards. And I always like to give highlights from whatever presentation we had at the time, which you can see here. Now, I point this out because I want to remind everybody these replays are available in the forum, and they're also available in the Facebook group. Every day I am posting a replay from my archives, and I've got literally 1,000 or more replays of some high quality photographers with some high quality messages, all designed to help everybody become better photographers. And here's the other one. I think I had you 1 year, and immediately I had you back a year after. So we had virtually two in a row, and that was sort of the presentation. Just a minute. Here we go. There we go. Now I got my screen all back. So you guys saw those screens, right? So
we did.
Yes.
There's those two replays. No, Chad, I sent you a message a while ago, and it took you a while to get back to me, and you had this long list of excuses, and you felt really bad. And I said, no, man, don't feel bad. We're just glad you're here. But what struck me is this, and this is going to lead into the next question, the first question.
Yep.
Besides all the stuff I just talked about, you said you've been doing this and this and this and that and that and this, and you seem busy. How's things going down there? Tell us where you're from. I know where you're from, but just for our viewers that they can get a sense of where you're from.
Yeah.
And what have you been up to? Let's go there.
I'm from Newark, New Jersey. I'm born and raised in Newark, New Jersey. And at the time, Newark, New Jersey was known, I guess, when I was younger, as the stolen car capital of the world. It was a cool place. But a lot of history has also come out of Newark, New Jersey. When we had the mayor, Cory Booker, Mark Zuckerberg, I think, donated like $100 billion to the school systems there. So it's a lot of big changes that are happening there now.
Nice.
But since then, then I've kind of started my career. I was doing graphic design for over 10 years. And, from there, it was like I just branched off into something different. And so people ask me, how did I transition from graphic arts to photography? I said it was funny because I remember when Kanye West got into a car accident and his mouth was all wired up. They asked me, they said, you can draw, Kanye. Why didn't you just become an artist? He said, well, I couldn't turn it up loud enough. And I thought that was a very unique answer. And so the same thing, when I was doing graphic design, I didn't get the same feeling from the people. You get, oh my God, my flyer's nice. Hey, can you trim out my face a little more? Can you do this? Right. It was a different feeling you got. But now with photography, it was a thing where you see brides, people hold their breath, and people like loving it. People like, oh my God, like I love this, and you get an immediate reaction. And so I branched off to here. During the coronavirus time, it was a little different for me because shoots were like getting postponed and canceled left and right. And I was trying to figure out what the heck do I do. So I started taking pictures of clouds, and I started, putting different filters on it. It was cool. And I said, I'm gonna call these Corona clouds. And maybe at the end of the pandemic, I'll sell these clouds and like, this was the mood hanging over the earth. It was Corona clouds. Me and some buddies had a WhatsApp group where we just take photos and randomly put stuff in it just to keep our juices flowing. And it wasn't until one day I had an assistant that I found now, and she helped me kind of develop like a schedule and things like that. And we kind of set up some Zoom calls where clients needed their wedding albums. And
Right.
when we did that, at the end of the wedding album sale, it was like upgrades that the clients did. And I said, oh, wow, this was a cool upgrade. I said, well, I'll try the next client the next day. It worked 3 days in a row. And I said, it's got to be a fluke. Like, I mean, it's got to be a fluke. It's just those three. And I did it for three more clients, and it happened again. And I was like, I think I found something. I'm not saying people were not doing in-person sales, but for me, that I'd never done it before during the pandemic, it kind of made me rise to the occasion this time.
Okay, before you go on, I got to just clarify. You're doing Zoom calls, sales sessions via virtual.
Yes.
So you're actually shooting these and then doing the proofing via virtual. Is that what you're saying? I just want to be clear on this.
Not the proofing. I send them out the proofing when it's time for the album. I'll send them the album, and they'll have a pre-designed album, and then we almost pre-design the album together.
This for weddings? Is it also for engagement shoots as well? Maybe families?
For those who just want the albums, but usually, for clients now, I'll do a Zoom conversation on the phone. It just became the way of life now.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. I want to go back to that.
But other than that,
point. I want to go back to that. Okay. So I'll let you finish your story about how that evolved. So.
Yeah, it just evolved, and it was like really cool. And I was like, wow, I think I found something here, because it was an upgrade. It was an upgrade for everybody. They got the album and everybody's happy. But with my assistant, it helped me to put like everything in place of like, the wedding album's done. Now what name do you want on there? What place you want to send it? What color you want? So forth and so on. This became a way of life. And so when you called me, I'm a live in North Carolina now, but because most of my business was in New York and New Jersey, that's where a lot of the traffic comes from now. So when you called me, I was in Puerto Rico, I was in Jersey, I was doing a shoot here, and it was just, I'm checking my phone, and usually the messages I barely check. It's like something you'll see, because I got a lot of like, hey, John just stole your money from this video game. Your town's been decimated. I'm like, what is this? And so I'm like, I get to that stuff. It's just all like spam on there. So when I see it, I'm like, all right. Oh, what's on there? Okay,
Cool.
Yeah, man. But it's still cool.
So you've been pretty busy in spite of everything. Yeah. And shooting weddings. Now, I just want to go back to that last point, because sometimes I'm a little slow. I just got to clear things up.
We all are.
These were upgrades to weddings that you had already shot, and you sort of put together an album, and then you showed your clients the album, and the sales were made. And I guess one of the most amazing parts and aspects to all that, if indeed that's what happened, was the fact that you were doing these sales sessions via Zoom.
Yeah. I think the best thing that carried over is when you design with your clients, it becomes they feel more involved with it. First, like, hey, here's your template. All right, you want those changes? All right, cool. I'll get them back to you. Oh, well, I wanted to check this. Okay, we'll do it again. Hey, I want to do this. It's going to cost you $75 now, right? Okay. And so it's a little thing of, we're involved. At the end of the session, the album's done. Only thing we do now is say, hey, we'll get back to you in 10 days, because we're gonna put all the changes that you want. We're gonna retouch everything you wanted, and then here's the album. You like it? All right. Let's go to the chapter and move on now.
Yeah.
That's how we do it now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I've got 5 questions bouncing around in my brain. I'm just trying to decide where to go. So obviously,
come on with it.
You're
start in the middle.
Yeah, and I want to go back to some of the stuff we talked about the last time we had you on one of these presentations, and the way you get great expressions and the way you find great locations. But let's get to that in a minute. Yeah. I'm horribly fascinated with Zoom as well, so that's why I want to stick around on that subject for a bit.
Okay.
We do a lot of these fairy day sessions. We go to Ottawa, we go to London, Ontario, Sault Ste. Marie, and we started doing. They're amazing. They're absolutely amazing, and they're very. They make us good sales. It's a hot market. It's child photography, basically evolved. Like, I used to do a ton of child portraits, boys and girls. Now it's mostly girls. There's boys too, but it's the fairy thing. So it really triggers a lot of demand and sales. But we've been doing a lot of Zoom sales, and I'm trying to track this, thinking, okay, especially since the pandemic, everybody's used to Zoom now. Before it was like, touch and go as to whether or not they were comfortable. Now everybody's comfortable with Zoom. So I think there could be something there insofar as using Zoom as a communication tool with so many clients in so many ways
Yeah.
you just mentioned your story, and that is you're doing a design album. Now, when you do a design album with a wedding, your first initial design, it sounds to me like that's going to take a lot of time. Is it what, an hour, 2 hours, 40 minutes?
Well, I have this software, Smart Albums, and I'm with them. And so what happens is usually I send clients out a video after their wedding. And the video basically saying, hey, thank you, and the platitudes for, they didn't have to choose me. But then they say, hey, here's all your videos. Here's how to find all your videos. If you want to save them, do this. Once you save them, if you don't want to save them, this is how you do this. Now, at the end of it, when they're picking it, I can go in and say, hey, I try to make everything streamlined because I have Capture One and then I have Shoot Proof. So with Shoot Proof, when they pick all of their photos at the end of the bottom of Shoot Proof, as all of the names of the pictures that they pick. So once I highlight them, I can literally go into Catalog and Capture One, drop those names in there, and just hit one button, and all of those will come up. So if I'm giving back client 1,000 images, and then he pick 200, those 200 will come up immediately. So now I take them, drop them in right into Smart Albums, and I design it like right away. And usually I'll give the client like a prelay. So maybe if they put 200 images, maybe I have 80 of them in there. Because it's the way I see it. I don't want to over clutter. Then as they see, they change. I kind of educate them on, well, this is a horizontal image. You don't want to put that vertical in. Here's why. This is day and night, and here's why. And maybe this will look better. And I'll say, hey, remember you came to the door. This happened next. This happened next. So let's take this one out. And they're like, you know what? I like how that looks. Can we switch this? Yeah. Can we do it? Yeah, let's do it. But the more you get involved and the more features you show them to make them, they're like way more elated. So at the end, we say, all right, the upgrade's going to be $1,000. It's like, how long is it going to take? It's a different thing now, Yeah. Now, again, everyone doesn't say yeah, but at the end, the album's still there. When they get their stuff together, they can always come back, but the album's still there because it's my time and everything that I'm, using to do that. Because sometimes sessions, depending, if you do a pre-session, it'll go quicker. Yeah. I did it before where we started with a naked. Oh God, it was like 4 or 5 hours. So now I know you guys start with a template already.
Yeah, it's all about streamlining, isn't it? So. Yeah. Hey, what, in your opinion, is the ideal amount of albums for a full wedding and an final wedding album?
You mean pictures or albums?
Yeah,
the amount of pictures in an album, a wedding.
I heard him, John. Don't worry.
Yeah, I heard it too. So don't worry.
What'd I say?
You said how many albums are usually in a photo album?
Oh, sorry.
Man, it could be 10. I think whatever tells your story.
All right.
I think whatever tell your story. One of my buddies, John Michael Cooper, out of Vegas. I mean, he's a crazy photographer. John Michael, he's legendary. He was the one that started the burning of the dress. That was his thing. Trash the dress. That was his thing. He lit a mannequin on fire, and then he had a bride. And then what happened in Photoshop? He merged them together in the desert, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, this thing is on fire!" And John became so the trash the dress. It came from John, He was saying he used to do big albums, and he used to do just large pictures in each album. He would have no more than maybe 10, 20 images, but it kind of told a story. And again, maybe that's where he was and his clients was at the time. Now, some of my clients want to see a little more, and from like feeling them out, listening to the story, watching the story on the day of, I'm saying, you know what? I remember these moments. I remember how much he said he loved it. That's why he's looking at her like this. I'll put this there, put this there. I'll add some dancing shots, maybe a few details. I'm not a big details guy. Because in the end, you're not going to run back in the house and grab the details. You're going to grab the pictures with people, and so I add that, maybe some dancing shots at the end. And I try to close out with a good image. It's like the movie Speed, right? Like if it catches you in the beginning, so basically you should start with a wow and end with a wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I try to do.
Now, do you charge per picture on your albums or per page? Because I know when I used to do weddings, I had my album started at 30 pages or 15 spreads, if you call it that. And then each additional spread, I wouldn't do it by page. I did spreads. It was this much more per spread. And then whatever pictures I fit in that spread, I fit them in to make, like you said, to tell the story.
Yeah. I do per spread. Spread. I know some people that do per picture. I do per spread.
Right. Yeah. So if somebody said to you, some clients would be like this, they're like, let's pile in lots of pictures, because in their view, they would think of that as like good value. More. But you're saying less is more because, I was surprised.
You look too busy if you don't.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because go ahead.
No, I was saying when you do it in the software, you can put no more than 24 images in a spread, right? So when they see it, and they see those memories start to go from here to here to here. The memories are like this, and it's like, hi John, hi Rob. You know, versus like, hi John, hi Rob, right? And so when they're like, oh, I really can't see myself now, I'm like, yeah. So we got to eliminate like what's not there. Then they kind of get it moving forward. You know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're going to rely on you quite a bit for your vision and instruction and guidance and consultation as you're going through this. If they get a little bit sort of idealistic and thinking, we got to put lots of pictures, and you can explain to them that's part of the sales process.
Yeah.
When I do an album, I think 70, 80 images. And I thought that's what you were going to say, but obviously your answer was much smarter. Whatever tells your story. I mean, that's a pretty good thing to tell a client and to help you guide those people along the sales process. I'm going to call it the sales process.
Sure. I'm like, it's for instance, I shot a wedding not too long ago, and I'm giving the clients back a little over like 1,002 images. I haven't given out 1,000 images in over 12 years.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Usually it's like 400 or 500. They just had so many memories going on, right. And I was catching so many moments until even when I culled in and chopped everything down, I was like, wow, it's still a lot of moments. I didn't even know I was giving that many away. Because usually, again, I've learned to like just strip all the fat and just give the meat. But in this particular case, it's just it's way more memories. And that could be because as you get older, in your career, you're better. You can see moments better, and you can fine tune and capture better moments and things like that.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. You just get seasoned experience. You develop an eye for stuff like that. So when you said 1,000 images, that then is sort of the exception to the rule. That's an anomaly. Yeah. Your average is 400 to 500. Now, when you get 400 to 500 quality images to your wedding clients, how many did you download and start to edit when you were done the wedding and you went to your place where you work and you downloaded them all? How many were there roughly?
God. So let's say they get 400. It could have been, I don't know, it could have been 3,000, 5,000 images.
Easy, eh?
So easy,
you sort of edit them down.
Yeah.
And you're just ruthless to say that one.
Yeah. When I first started,
you look at an image, you might say, well, that one's good, but this is way better. Let's just delete that one.
I know why I shot it, right? And I know the reaction I was trying to get. So I was showing someone the other day on Zoom. I said, here's two images that look similar. The bride was like this, and one she's like this. I said, which one do you choose? And she was like, well, I choose the one kind of like this. And so as I'm looking at it, I'm like, notice this. There's a girl at the bottom moving her dress. You can see more of her hand, not less of her hand. Then the bride that's smiling, she's at the height of her smile. And I'm like, so for those two instances, you want to take, eliminate the one where she's not at the height of smile and get the one height of smile. Same thing. The groom was walking in. I'm like, which image would you pick? It was similar. She's like, this one. I said, well, I would choose the other one because his legs are split. So it's not like a whole silhouette. His legs are split, so you can actually visualize the walking versus his legs are closed and it's up. So I try to use reason like that. But when I first started my career, I was, I guess they saying culling out. So I was saying, oh, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. Oh, it was taking me days and hours. Oh God, it was it was insane.
I'm the worst at culling.
Now I love it. I love culling now because I can cull it now, and but now I know if you guys are here, I'm not going to take 100 images of John right now. Then I'm gonna turn around and take 100 images of Rob because I'm like, I know what's happening when you get back. You have a big bridal party of 10 people. And you snap in 100 of each. Oh my God! You don't want to go through all that. You get fatigued. You get fatigued.
Yeah. So you spent 10 years as a graphic designer.
Yeah.
And so the last 10 years you've been into photography.
Yeah. So about 12 years. I'm talking now. Yeah.
So I noticed this trend when I got into digital 21 years ago. All of a sudden, a lot of graphic designers were getting into photography, and they were like the best. All of the graphic designers just were like outshone us, older guys have been around the block, and some of them were older. They were just like had that graphic designer training, which to me they brought into the game. And I think you need a little more than that, though. But I think you need if you have that graphic design sort of mojo going on. And you're personable like you are, because I've met a lot of graphic designers who are just plain downright curmudgeon-y, and they're not going to get far. They're not going to get far in the portrait and wedding photography business. You've got to be a very personable person. So, So tell me this then, Chad. How much do you see your graphic design experience as playing a major role or a minor role in your development as a wedding and portrait photographer?
It's major for me, not so much of like actually using Photoshop.
Mm-hmm.
It's from how I see images to what I want to see. Like for instance, I love like editorial shoots. I love editorial shoots.
Right.
So now when I'm shooting now, I'm always leaving some space for copy. But I'm trying to like use it so it doesn't look like too odd. Like they're not too far to the on one side or whatever else. And I'm trying to space it so like, okay, if this is a spread, I can put some words right here. Or maybe if I shoot a portrait and if it had to go on the cover, it's a little bit more space at the top. Or if there's no space at the top, I'll shoot it on maybe a grassy knoll in the background. So in Photoshop, you could take it up a little bit more, right? And I leave those little things. So I'm always thinking about space and copy when I shoot. It's in my head. I'm always thinking about space and copy. It could be details. I'm like, leave a little space for, leave a little breathing room just for copy. You know what I mean? Just in case.
Really? So you use a lot of copy in your albums?
I don't use copy, but just in case it went editorial or it went somewhere else, it's there already. You know, I try to leave that element there. But graphic design also helps me too when I go to edit a little bit. You know what I mean? When I add a little bit more of this, a little bit more of that. So it helps me in that area. So it kind of accelerated my learning when it came to different software platforms.
Mm-hmm. What kind of graphic design were you doing before you got into photography? What kind of were you working for somebody else or on your own?
I was doing church. Well, okay. So when I started, I had a laptop friend gave me. It had Photoshop 5.0. I don't know how old you guys are. You guys are pretty young to me.
I'm 5.0. I'm 5.0.
So 5.0 was like, every time you wanted to text and you click, that little box would pop up and you had to rewrite it or backspace and then you click OK. Then if you make another mistake, you click it, the box will pop up. You're like, oh my God. And I think I had that version. I created my mom like her first business card. The business card was huge. It was huge. I didn't know. I did it at 72 DPI. It was huge. The guy's like, it has to be 300 DPI. I'm like, 300 what? Like, what? Dots per inch? What is dots per inch? What is LPI, lines per inch? What is this? And so as I learned the business and the correct forms to put them in, it kind of came more. And I just kind of worked with this thing called Photoshop. I think it was Thomas Knowles or whatever. It was like this thing called Photoshop. And I just kept using until it kind of became like a way of life.
That's pretty cool.
And I just didn't stop using it. So I was doing. Then once I worked for somebody, the church I was going to at the time, I did like a lot of graphic design for them. So it was a lot of flyers for conferences. I was doing campaigns. You create a label. Then it was a 4x6. It was a cover for a book bag. It was colors for business cards. I mean, all kind of campaigns I was doing all the time. The church bulletins, like logos. It was just a thing. But that gave me a good foundation to start from. And it was a system I had to work up under because you had a certain time limit. You have different things to do, and it had to be turned in a certain time to get to the printer. And then I learned how to call and talk to the printers and different things about the money and the ways and how long it takes. And that was my foundation, so it really helped me, and I'm always thankful for that.
Well, it sounds pretty exciting. Church flyers and announcements, whatever else. It always fascinates me, graphic design, because of what they're able to do. But it's so much more diverse, in my opinion, as a visually creative field. And my daughter graduated from a 3-year program last year, and she's been working full-time as a graphic designer. And it's exciting to see her weave through her career. She's already got her second job, big pay raise, and she's just plugged right into the industry. And I find that, again, opportunities are everywhere. You took your graphic design experience and knowledge and whatnot, got into photography, and you apply it directly in your design of your photography. Now, having said that, let's put that aside, because I think your superpower is your images. They are full of life, and I'm guessing that's probably one of the main reasons you're booking. Or if you've had any amount of success over the years, over the span of your career shooting, I think mostly weddings, right?
Mostly weddings, and nowadays it's weddings, but I'm putting way more family and portrait images into my work now.
That's perfect.
I love family stuff now.
So you've got a very strong eye, and we talked about this before, how you get great expressions. I mean, look at these images. All of them are full of life and emotion and joy and all that stuff. So Anything you want to say about that you could share with our viewers, especially newcomers into photography who, just kind of stand there paralyzed and like click, click, look at the camera, click, click. You know what I mean?
I love that one.
I think it has to be which one? With the guy and the girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because you got to know Larry. Larry's like hey man, what's going on? He's real quiet. Hey man, he make jokes with you. So to see him perform like that, it was like, yo, look at Larry. I think it comes down to who you are as a person, right? When I watched the movie Ip Man, you guys ever seen Ip Man?
Mm-hmm. I think I have. I'm not sure if I did or not.
Did you say Ant-Man?
IP.
No, I didn't see that.
No,
movie.
I never did. No.
Make a long story short, it's a guy. It's a Chinese town called Foshing, I think that's the name of it. And in that town, he's the best ever, karate guy, right? He's the best ever. Some guys come into town and they're beating up everybody. They're beating up the masters and everybody. And they're doing them easily, convincingly. And so as they're eating, they're like, dude, this town is going to be nothing like for us to build a school here. And we'll show everybody like the power of what we do. And so the waiter's like, you think because you beat a couple of nitwits, like you did something, you haven't fought the best. And he's like, who's the best? He was like, Ip Man, of course. So as Ip Man is in his house, about to eat dinner with his family, it's really quiet, and he's kind of just sitting there with a cigarette, and he's just really quiet. It's knock at the door. They come in, it's this huge crowd. The cops come and like, hey, these guys want to come and fight and everything else like that. Make a long story short, the guy comes in the house to Ip Man, and he was like, hey, I want to start a school here. He was like, listen, to start a school, you don't need me. All you need is a location. You don't need me to fight. Well, they say you're the best. So make a long story short, they fought. Now, Ip Man's a real quiet guy. I mean, the guy that was beating up all the masters easily, Ip Man was beating him simply easily. At the end of it, the guy said, okay. He said, listen, no more. He said, I see what your northern style did to my southern style. But in the beginning, what I didn't tell you was he kept saying the same thing. I want to see what my northern style does to your southern style. And Ip Man's response was, it's not about styles. It's about you. That was a long answer, but it comes down to who you are when you show your photos. I think if you're a guy that, loves, stuff is his, it's dark and moody, but it's full of life, because that's why sometimes I'm moody, but, I'm full of life at the same time. So I think that comes out. If you're kind of like a person that's, hi, how you doing? Yeah. Then your photos may come out super bright and, everything else like that and super duper clean. My images are not super duper clean, but they're going to be full of life and emotions, because when we all expire and go away, I always want you to remember those times, not just kind of say, hey, just stand here, guys. Mm-hmm. Click, turn, click, turn. Your kids get older, they're like, oh, I see you, mommy. You just kind of stand there looking. I see you, daddy. It's like I want them to remember, that's my dad. That's my mom's face. Those are the things that I'm thinking about now,
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And I love the colors. Like, you're just a very punchy colors. You're not that faded look that's famous these days, at least here in Canada. I don't know if Rob noticed it, but a lot of them are doing that faded out.
It's everywhere.
But you have the punchy colors, and the people just look like they're involved. It's just awesome.
You see a lot of that, like there's also dark filters added onto it as well. And I'm going to put that in the same category as the faded look, but I don't know. It's moody. It's a moodiness, but it's often a Photoshop action or a Lightroom thing that they're preset that they're using. You see that a lot, and people like that becomes their style. So I agree with John, Chad, that your images are very, very clean. So you don't do a lot, I would imagine, to the final image insofar as adding a whole lot of effects, working with what you got.
I try not to. And speaking of Photoshop, it's a gift and a curse. I did a shoot not too long ago in Philadelphia, and as a stylist helping out the couple. And she kept saying, well, we don't like this building. We'll just Photoshop that out. Well, I don't like this rooftop. We'll just Photoshop it out. And I said, listen, we can't put the couple in the gym and then say, just take the whole gym out. We'll put them in Madagascar. Like, that's not how it works. I'm like, Photoshop should be the salt and pepper. It shouldn't be the whole entire meal. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, we don't believe in shooting in camera. We don't believe in getting it right in camera first. And like, it's just like, you know what? I didn't do that good. Let's just Photoshop. Now, when I started years ago, that was a thing. I always try to get it right in camera. But it seems as more people get in here with certain graphic design skill levels, or more access now to graphic designers with that skill level, it's like, oh, I can just Photoshop it out, put a different house in the background, and I can sell it like this. I never wanted to do that, because once you start that way, you have to do your whole career that way. You have to Photoshop everything and spend hours Photoshopping and tweaking. I just want to shoot it the correct way. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I can't lie and say no BS has not had an impact on my career, because before I knew you guys were different. It was a no frills looking kind of site, but the
Yeah.
information was there. It wasn't decorated really nice. It was just like, dude, these guys are just, it's like no frills. It's just telling you what it is. It's like video shot on like regular cameras. It wasn't like a high production,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
their information was always correct. So I learned a lot of things from watching you guys and kind of coming up through the career.
Cool. Good to hear.
Yeah.
Hey, can we show Chad's page, John, and,
Yep.
and go to engagements? I just want to pick Chad's brain here on some of
Sure
the
can.
images.
Let's do it. I love this part.
Yeah. Okay, that image right there on the right. Well,
That
look at the one on the left too. I mean, that was stunning. The
Let's talk
one
about
on the
that one.
left, you obviously saw that and said, let's get this shot, and you created a sort of a cool, funky silhouette.
Yeah. That image came because we were shooting a couple. We're in New York, and most people from New York, they love New York, so they want to represent New York in some type of way. And as me and my sister were there, I usually get there like an hour or so before. We're just walking around the neighborhood because I'm like, okay, I know they want to shoot here, but what if I wanted to take them somewhere else? Or what if they said, hey, we're done with this area, now what? Right? Because you're the photographer. It's like, now what? And like, so I said, let me figure it out. And as we're walking down the street, I see a school. I see a learning school, and it had like this stencil in the wall, in the glass. I'm like, this is interesting.
Right.
So I got real low. I looked. I told my sister, I'm like, come closer, come close, move this way. And I'm looking because he's literally right behind me, and I'm like, cool.
Bingo.
So when the couple came, I probably took about 250 shots just to get one good one. And it was like, hey, come closer. It was like, Chad, we up on you. I'm like, touch me. Let's go. Keep coming. Come on. Let's go. Because I had to get him right in the thing. And we kept shooting until I got some I like, and I tweaked it a little bit. And there you go.
I love it. Absolutely. So you show up an hour early and you get all kinds of ideas. I mean, I love that kind of photography when I go to a place I've never been before and I'm just randomly looking for stuff. I just love doing that. You just learn to see, so
Yeah.
you're looking for opportunities, right? And you obviously have the ability to spot them, and also based on sort of what you know about the couple or
Yeah.
their personal quirks. So this image on the right is a good example of what John was talking about. Your images are clean, simple, and very, very punchy.
Yeah.
Lots of
So-
contrast.
This image, I got contacted by this couple, and they're like, hey, I'm going to be Superman, and she's going to be Wonder Woman. And I'm like, I guess I'm Spider-Man, right? I don't know what they're talking about, but they're like comic book fans, and so he literally had a like a nice little leather coat on that had a Superman thing here. She kind of had the woman gear on, and we just kind of had fun. I even have some images where like he threw like a lasso around her and kind of pulled her here and there, and it was pulling and things like that. But this is a famous place. It's in New York. In the Dumbo area. And if you know about Dumbo stands for Down Under Manhattan Bridge Overpass. But it's a real popular, textural, colorful area. And instead of like, I used to see people like shoot the graphic and they would shoot it really close. And I said, what would it be if we kind of stood back and you could see like this ribbon kind of going around them? And then I'm like, hey guys, hey, let's go. Come on, get together. Kiss them on the forehead, nose, lips. Forehead, nose, lips. Quick. And they start busting out laughing. And I'm right there. Got it. All right. And then when they're standing there, like, I'm like, this is my camera. And they're like, why are you not shooting us? I was like, I was just watching you guys in love. I'm sorry. And then we just walk up to the next thing.
Very good. Very good.
Are you all available light, or do you pop in flash outside, or?
I am all available light, but now I've learned a couple of years ago, adding that light, it gives you that real photographer value, because now you know how to use light, and then you don't hide behind, I'm just all natural light. It's just that because I was so scared to use the off-camera light, before, this is all I would do. And I learned how to do it. Like this, if you look at him, it almost looks like a wing on his back, right? You see like a little wing back there? This came because I literally had nothing. I didn't know what I was going to do. Like if you see like right below her, it's like a little missing piece right there. It was like this big, giant, circular red thing. And I was like, oh my God, because my thing was always shooting in dapple light. Like I always could find like little pockets of light, put the faces in, do some kind of expression, and kind of step back and get like that little nice square. And then when I came to one spot, it was nothing there. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what do I do? And they're waiting for me. And I'm like, what do I do? And I turned around and I looked and I saw a bunch of sun coming through, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, I looked at the trees and I was like, wait, trees? Oh, shoot. Guys, come here. And so when I looked at it, I said, stand right here. I'm like, so I said to myself, if he leans her back, he's going to lean her into the naked space. So I said, all right, cool, hold her. I said, on the count of 3, you're going to lean it back. I said, all right, let's practice. Let me see. You leaned it back? I said, pretty good. It could be better. We're going to do it. And that was it. I said, all right, come on, let's go. 1, 2, 3. And he leaned it back, captured the frame, and that was it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. Are you Sonny Boy Williamson? He's one of my favorite. Oh, you got Muddy Waters there. I got a picture of Muddy right here. You notice that right there?
We're in sync. This came because we were in Boston with this couple, and sometimes couple have an idea of what they want to do and where they want to go. They'll say, "Oh, let's go by the water." And what I tell them is, we can do that water shot, but after the water, then what? Like, then what do we do? Do we do more water shots? And your whole thing is full of just water shots and walking and holding hands and looking and smiling, and it's just water, right? And so we were driving by like the Boston Stadium, and I'm like, wait, go back. And I said, this is it. But they fully trust me. And I said, like, we were jumping out of supermarkets. I would see all kind of graphic designs of supermarkets with birds. I would say, let's stop right here. They're like, dude, right here, just trust me. And so we came here, like them, just like the next couple. I said, okay, so the ones looking at now, this idea came from the couple you're saying on the yellow thing, on the next slide, because it's a movie Kid and Play. It's an old rap hip hop thing with Kid and Play where they used to dance and they used to do like these little leg things when they dance. So I said, hey guys, Kid and Play? I said, let's do that. We're gonna do it in the count of 3. Because I could have put him here by these old jazz legends and kind of shot him and made the background kind of blurry and said kiss. They're a fun couple. Like, they always laugh. They just laugh for no reason. So I said, let's do something else that's gonna provoke a laugh, but it's an interesting background of why they're doing it. And so that's what we have right there.
Cool.
Love it.
I love it. So you doing boudoir? I noticed some of your posts on Facebook are boudoir.
Yeah.
I don't see any on your website though. So
I've done about 2 or 3 sessions, and I'm waiting to get like 1 or 2 more sessions under my belt, and then I'm gonna like put it out there more. I just didn't have a full grasp on it. But what I told myself is, I don't think I have to do it like everybody else. I can do it in my own form. As long as the clients trust me and believe in the way I'm doing it, then I can go from there. So eventually, I'm gonna put it on there and try to make it a thing.
Yeah, it's a big market, man. It's a big market, and I like what you said. You're gonna do it your own way.
Yeah.
I mean, really. So you're doing a couple of sessions, I guess, as tests to sort of see what you can create and get a sense of. So as a man, I've always said women have the advantage, especially women who are very confident and good communicators with women. But doesn't mean us guys can't be stellar in our ability to shoot fashion and/or fashion glamour boudoir sessions. Because it's a very personal thing you're talking about, and you're expressing visually their sexuality in many ways. So have you noticed anything that is particularly challenging so far for you in this new endeavor of yours, this new creative direction that you're hoping that, and I'm sure it's going to grow. Yeah. I can't see it not growing because I think trust is the big one, and it's all through communication. And
yeah, I always assured them, right? So a lot of times my girlfriend gets nervous and she's just like, really? You're going to be there with other girls and you're going to what? And what? Yeah. Like, for instance, I recently went to Puerto Rico. I had to shoot a bachelorette weekend. So it was 11 ladies. I was the only guy. And she was just like freaking out. Now, probably if it was the other way around, if it was 12 guys, it was just her, 11 guys, I probably would feel the same way, right? But the thing is, I told her this. I said, I can go there and be a butthole and try to talk to some women. I said, or I can be a businessman and then possibly have other opportunities come my way. And so at the end of the trip, the girls were like, oh my God, like 3 of them said, hey, I want to hire you for this. I want to hire you for this. Like, this is really cool. I'm thinking about hiring you for this. So it's a really cool trip. And they were just like, oh my God, they put me in a group chat and they were like, yo, we miss you. It was really cool because we had fun. And I wanted to build the trust of like who I am, and just show like just my skill set and go from there.
Yeah.
So so usually with the same thing with boudoir, it's about me just kind of building the trust up and saying like, this is who I am. Like, it's no nonsense for me. I've learned to look at the people that came before me. They're still here, like you, and there's things that I've learned to go on. This photographer out of Atlanta, Zach Arias.
I know Zach.
Yeah. So he had the video called the One Light DVD, right?
Mhm.
And so in the One Light DVD, that was like the holy grail for me. That was the holy grail for me. And with the One Light DVD, he said every time he has a female client, he always gets a female assistant, just in case he has to move something around or things like that. Now, a lot of times if I have a guy assistant or a female assistant, he said you'll get some photographers that's always looking at the women and they want to see things like that. I've never taken that out of my mind. And so it's usually, if I have to move the hair, I'll say, hey, can I move your hair back? And it's really loud, but it's like, hey, can I move your hair back? So everybody know I'm just moving the hair back. I'm just tweaking something. Hey, can I just move that from your shoulder? Like, can I? You know, and they'll say, yeah. And it's like, cool, you know, because I don't want anybody to get any misconception wrong because this is my business. So and it's my career. So it's nothing I'll ever jeopardize, ever.
Unbelievable. So you approach it like a business always, and with the creative and artistic vision and mindset.
Yeah. So I love on his website. Sorry, Rob, I love on his website his mom's quote there, there. That was his mom's quote on his website.
Yeah.
And I think that sums a lot of it up right there. Treat everybody the same.
Yeah, oh my gosh, she would always tell me that. She passed away in 2005, but this one girl came to my house. She said, hey, Sarita's coming to the house. And I'm like, okay. She's like, yeah, she wants her album cover done. And I told her you would do it. And I said, for how much? She said, $100. I said, what? For an album cover? Like, mine. And she said, boy, what are you doing so for $10,000? $10 or $10,000, do the same work. And I was like, Mom, that's $100. Like, I'm not trying to, it's $100. Like, whatever you saying. But now I know what she's saying. Because people don't know whether your photos came from a $40,000 camera sometime or a $40 camera. She just do the same work, you know, always. Because now when somebody else sees it, whether you did a shoot for $10, you can get $10,000 of it. People don't know. So when she told me that, it resonated maybe like a year after her passing away.
Yeah, that's a beautiful quote, man. I love it.
Yeah.
There's a good lesson there. So give it all, you know, and there's obviously the business side of things that you got to be aware of, but the artistic, passionate side where you, as a craftsman, for lack of a better word, somebody who is creating something for somebody. You don't want to compromise on that. And if you're giving somebody $100 worth of work versus the $10,000 worth of work, it would appear to me that you're compromising what you're actually giving them, and which looks bad on you, I would imagine.
Absolutely. And nobody would know. And again, I learned that from graphic design as well. I did a album cover for a church. It was a Christmas album cover. The design was flawless. They faulted on, they got it done on some really cheap paper, and you can kind of see through it. And everybody saw it. They kept saying, the graphic designer did this? The graphic designer did this. The graphic designer did this. I just did the design. I wasn't responsible for the paper, so it was cut wrong. The paper was, and it was just like, oh man. So it was like note to self: whether you got to tell a client and express to the client, I can only do this job if you have this particular paper and look. That way, we all come out on top. You go get more sales, and then I can have a cool thing to represent, and I can say it came from you guys, and we go from there. Yeah.
Good point. You got a picture of some dude laying down in a pool in his white shirt, black tie, black dress pants.
Is that on his website?
It's on Instagram. What's that all about?
All right. So I had this cool couple. He was like, dude, we want to do something really cool. He said, I'm going to go on Amazon. I'm going to buy me a $10 black suit. He said my wife is buying a $10 black dress because it was we did like almost the whole shoot in the water in the pool in a hotel. And he said, I'm going to get like a $40 black suit. And they got in the water and they just had fun. We just had fun. And my sister was trying to get me to go in the water. Unfortunately, I didn't have my Speedos on me that day. So I kind of stood up and opted different. And so there I had like my big light and I kind of put the light on him and we just had fun. He showed me like a inspiration from Ryan Gosling, I think. He was in the pool, but he was kind of like stand up in the pool. And I got that shot. And then we wound up doing another shot. And my sister Kevin just likes to have fun. And let's go, And I explained right there.
Can you guys see it on?
I put it up there.
Okay.
Because I was explaining the story on that one about how it happened.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Cool. You said something about a one light DVD, so I just want to touch on lighting for a second.
Yeah.
John asked you if you use flash. It seems to be most of the time you don't use a lot of auxiliary lights or extra lights. You're just going with the scene with what's available. So are you starting to explore just the one light usage? And pretty much that's all you do is just the one light concept, which is simple and clean and not complicated.
If I can, right? Because I did a wedding this weekend and I was in Orlando, and I had a guy working with me. It's his first time doing a wedding ever, right? But he does media stuff. He just first time doing a wedding, and so I literally had just my monopod, flash on top, and I had this. It's called a flash bender.
Flash bender.
Yeah, I know. It's like a square, white and black on one side, and it bends whatever direction you want.
I'm curious. I am curious.
It's about this big,
God.
I guess. This is my mouse pad, but it's about like a mouse pad like this, and you can bend it in different ways.
I think
it's a little pocket. You can just put some up in there and close it up. And so
like a little reflector for your flash.
Yeah. So what happens is when you shoot through it, it makes it like a big thing. So what happened is I told him, I said, hey, because I actually dropped my $800 light. This light when I was in Puerto Rico. This light that I paid like good money for.
Yeah.
I actually dropped it, and now it's like smelling like smoke and everything like that. So I didn't have it to use. So I said, you know what? I'm a photographer and I'm professional. I have to figure it out. And so I said, let me go back to my first works. I'm like, I remember lighting bridal parties with just this one light. So I said, hey, Danny, this is what we're going to do. You're going to hold it up really high behind me. Hold it up really high as like the sun. And that's it. And when you shot it, it spreads right across. And you can, that's it.
Pretty simple.
That's
$59.
Yeah.
Hey, that flash you broke, is that one of those like $3,000 jobbies?
No, this is the Godox one. This is about a $700 job.
All right. I couldn't tell the brand there, but Godox, yeah.
Yeah, Godox Flashpoint. Same company.
Didn't you just get one of those? Didn't you just get one of those, John?
Yeah, I got the 600 Pro and two 200 Pros.
Yeah, this is 600 Pro, and I was sick when it dropped. Like, this is my third one. It's my second one that's dropped, and I was like,
Chad, you got to stop dropping them. It's really simple. Don't drop.
I don't have my assistant.
I'm detecting an issue here, a pattern.
Listen,
it's a bit of an expensive pattern.
It's a bit of an expensive pattern.
Yeah.
So I had to figure it out, and when I put the light up, it spread across the lid everything that I wanted to light, and so I still do it, but I try to make everything as simple as possible as I can. But I still wanted to have that look that I'm looking for. But
what is that look?
The punchy.
Right.
And I wanted to be right in camera. I don't want the flowers to be blown out and I'll just come back and try to bring the highlights down. I want it to be right as I can in camera, because when I shoot, I'm thinking about post-production as well. Like, okay, cool. It's at this level, so I know what I got to do to bring it down a little bit, bring it up a little bit. And I shot it kind of even tone if I can. And I go from there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So let me see here. I got a list of questions.
I love this.
Good. It was pretty casual, I love it too. And I was just thinking that actually a second ago. I said, this is the way these conversations go, and this is exactly how I like them to go. And
that's why we don't have any preset questions that we send, like some shows do. They'll send preset questions to the guests and say, here, think of these questions. I like it this way, just a conversation.
I love it.
Let's just roll with it. So you're, I wanted to mention something about 8 minutes ago about boudoir, and you mentioned your assistant. I couldn't imagine in a million years ever doing a boudoir session and having a guy there, unless he was extremely effeminate.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
But I would always bring girls or women, makeup artists, and have her as my assistant. But there's that whole issue with. Building
protection.
Up confidence and
protection too. You got to protect yourself too.
Absolutely,
and there's
absolutely.
that too. So
now, full disclosure: the people that I've shot, maybe except for exception of one, I knew them for a number of years or a number of time. Where it was just conversations that wasn't about boudoir. Just life conversations, and it's like, well, I'm getting older. I don't know how I'm gonna look years from now. I want to show off my body, this and that, and I want to have something. It's like, well, I do photography, and I'm seeing something. You think you can do something like that? And the trust from not talking about it is already built up, and now it's a matter, of me, just kind of using it, of kind of just photographing it. The trust is already there.
I'm dying to see what you come up with.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be unique. It's gonna have your signature on it.
Yeah,
it's gonna be colorful and punchy, no doubt, and full of expression and emotion. Somehow you're going to weave that into your boudoir sessions.
Yeah, I tried. I did this one young lady, and she said, "Oh, we can just use my apartment," and that was it. And I was like, "Cool." When you got there, you were like, "All right, you got to figure it out," because it was really small. I had like all of this gear, and I was just like, wait, I'm by myself. I'm gonna be putting up stands and rigging and hold on, click. Okay, yeah, we got it right. I had the tether set up. I'm just trying to really make it official. And I was like, you know what? Her setup is not super official. Like, I got natural light coming in here. It's a boudoir session. Everything doesn't have to be exposed really clean. So I said, you know what? Put this to the side. I took the cord out the tether, and I said, let's just shoot some natural light. And I got some cool silhouettes of her body and things like that. And I even put one up where she was in the window, and she was like this showing herself. And she said, did you Photoshop my stomach? And I'm like, why? She's like, because my stomach's not like that. And I said, do you like it? She said, yeah. And I said, okay, there it is then.
Did you?
I did because her shape was already there. It just needed like a tweak. That was a little small tweak, and then it was a done deal. Yeah.
Well, Sue Bryce is like that too. It's all available light usually with her. She started using strobes, but she basically all available light in hers, and she's upset ISO because you can get away with high ISOs with boudoir because sometimes that grainy look actually adds to it.
Absolutely. And I kind of use that same mentality, from Sue Bryce to Susan Strickland. I try to use that same moody mentality, and I could never say gone other days, right? Because this photography, we can always resurrect something that from 20 years ago that people are not thinking, But there's certain things, maybe if Monty Zucker said, hey, always show the bride's dress and make her stand up or something, see the bride's dress. So I never forget those little small, minute details from Monty Zucker and guys like that, And I can still talk about Sue Bryce or Monty Zucker because I'm in that in between, and some of the things I know, Rocky Gunn or some of those old guys,
Monty Zucker going way back.
Yeah, man.
A lot of people wouldn't know him. There's a boudoir session on your Instagram account. It's she has a big weavy sort of ponytail, and it's looped over her left shoulder. And the angle of that pose is very, very sexy, but you don't see anything. I love that look. I've seen photographers, both men and women, do that pose, but from the wrong angle. Yeah. And I always hated that angle when they show. It's almost like, I don't know, it's just a bad sort of almost smutty version. And this looks hot, sexy, artistic, and very, very beautiful. You know which one I'm talking about, right? There's a balloon on the left there. I'm not sure why the balloon's there. Is there a reason, or is it just happen that you put it there? Or
can you bring it up?
Yeah, because I'm looking for it right now and I can't find it yet. So
it's on his. You got 465 likes on it, and it's on your Instagram page.
Yeah, I'm on his Instagram, but I'm scrolling all the way down. I haven't found it yet.
It's the second row over to the right.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I see what you mean. Okay, yeah, I found it.
Yeah, so that's actually my assistant.
Right.
Yeah, and she shared like some of her backstory. Whereas when she was is that it? I was in the airport talking. Was that it? Yeah, it was her birthday weekend, but I think it was another one.
I might have I hit it, but then
that one. Yeah.
Oh, it is the same one.
Yeah, it's the same one. I think I was talking about a story. I was in the airport, so it's like it sounds a little bit weird, whatever. But if you forward, you'll see. It's my assistant. She shared kind of some of her backstory of when she was younger. And, her mother didn't let her really do anything. She just kind of always felt kind of isolated a little bit, right? And so she said, when I got older, I wanted to be free. And so this is actually our second shoot. Then we did a third one later on, but it's actually our second shoot in which she wanted to be free and to kind of express herself more and things like that. And it's funny because the lady who did her hair, she charged a lot of money to do the hair. And we kind of worked out a barter deal where literally the next day I had a shoot with the lady that does the hair, and she became my assistant. So it's funny. We went from here, and she has this nice hairdo. She told him I liked the next day like this. It was really funny.
That's the one on the right there?
Yeah, yep. That's her, yeah. Because she actually started the hair like in the car, and then she comes to the rest. But she has like 2 shops. It's called like Magic Fingers, and like her work is like phenomenal. It's like absolutely phenomenal.
I have a good feeling about where you're going to go with boudoir. Again, it's a big market. The photographers that I know that are in it, it's just like boom. So boudoir, weddings, you want to do family albums as well. Any other ideas, thoughts, what's your feeling on the future? Like, how's New York? Like you said, you moved out of New York, right?
I'm in North Carolina,
So, but that's not too far from New York, is it?
It's 7 hours.
Okay, that's a bit of a drive. So you're getting reestablished in a new area? What town are you in, by the way?
I'm in Henderson. Henderson is a very small town, about 45 minutes from Raleigh, which is like a big town, and the biggest town, which is Charlotte, which is like 3 hours away. That's the biggest town. I'm in a small town, about 15,000 people. My town feels like you were on a movie lot. Right. Everybody went to lunch. Actually, did you want something and never came back? That's what it feels like.
Hey,
That's what it
John,
feels
where
like.
where does Maria live? She moved from
She's in South Carolina too, I think, but I'm not sure
south.
where in South Carolina.
I'm in North.
I think she's in North Carolina.
Or is she in North Carolina? I know she's in Carolina. I don't know if it's
She
North or
wanted
South.
to go somewhere warm because she been in Pittsburgh for many, many years.
Yeah.
You
She
might
did well
remember-
in Pittsburgh too.
Yeah, but she moved there, and I can't remember what town.
I'm actually trying to phase weddings out just a little.
She's
bit.
in Charleston, South Carolina.
Charleston, about 2 hours away.
Yeah, South Carolina.
Yeah.
She's doing
What's up,
really,
bud?
really well. So you saying you're fading weddings out? You're going to sort of do less and less of them?
Yeah, I want to do kind of less of them. I just want to do the ones that are like super fun destination where the people are like my same personality, right? You know, I've had clients that say, "Dude, I love when you shoot the dark images, like the darker the better, or the moody." And I'm like, "What? What you say? Like what? What? Are you complimenting me?" And it's like those are my favorite clients, right? It's almost like if someone says, "Hey, I'm going to hire," it's like they may hire Shania Twain and say, "Hey, can you do what Beyonce does?" No, I'm Shania Twain. I can't. No, it's me. So I've had people hire me and say, "Hey, can you kind of shoot like John Butler?" And I'm like, "No, I can't."
Believe
like,
me, if you want to make less money, you can shoot like John Butler.
So it's like I just want to fade it out. Like I don't want to eliminate them, but I want to do ones where I can get to pick and choose. But
Yeah.
families, it started to become a thing for me to like just see families, whether it's generational things like that. Even to shoot some of those and watch those again. Back to NoBS, I saw you guys shoot countless families. I was always marveled at like, wait, how did they put the light here? What do they do here? It was like always technical what I wanted to know, but I saw you guys shoot countless families and things like that. And they mean something as you get older.
Yeah.
Like that stuff means something to me. So now to shoot families, to shoot artists, and to shoot portraits and things like that, where to me that's more intimate than this big elaborate event. Any wedding client that I've had, any ones that I have coming up, I'm always grateful because you didn't have to choose me as your photographer, especially to be in an intimate space to share your memories. I'm always grateful for that. You know,
Well, I know Rob used to. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. No, I was going to say, I know Rob and James, I don't know if Rob still does it, but when they used to shoot weddings, they included a family portrait for both sides of the family in their package as a promotional thing with their wedding package.
Yeah.
Oh man, when I was watching them guys, they were doing stuff they always had like the light and they were doing this and they were showing you how to make it moody and then go on Photoshop and do this. They were like talking Greek to me. I was like, you know what, I can't catch up with these guys. They're doing like, you know.
I love family photography. It's one of my favorites. I love kids and the whole thing. You know, I don't know what it is, but I love it. So you have a boy. He's what, almost a teenager now?
I have 3 kids. I have 2 boys, one little girl. My little boy, he just turned 12.
Yeah, he's your favorite.
He's his favorite 12-year-old.
That's what he is. Right.
So you're
my favorite 12-year-old.
You're a family man, so that's pretty cool. All right, we're going to wind her down here. We got about 9 more minutes before we got to let you go because John's got to head out.
Oh my God,
time flies,
Yeah.
So, a couple of John, if you have any, just quick questions, we can fire away at Chad before we go.
He was talking about his wedding albums. Now, who do you use for your wedding albums?
I use Madeira, and I was using the ones out of Australia. The big boys.
The big boys.
I know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. What is it? Come on.
Australia, I don't know, because I know in the States they have like Fineo and things like that.
No, there's a big company. One of the big ones is Australian.
Oh my God, I forget the name, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
While you're thinking about that, okay, I mentioned New York, but your area that you're in now, and you want to do destination weddings with couples and people who have the same personality that are well suited for you.
Yeah.
Are things opening up in that area and or your physical geographic area? And I know it's been a hell of a go in the last year, and a lot of photographers have been really, really struggling. We literally have not worked since January.
Okay.
Lockdown opened up, lockdown, and photographers are a no-go.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
So how's it going in that respect? How do you see the future with all of that?
If you notice on my Instagram, I did something I've never seen anybody do. I started telling you about the photo. I've seen people talk on photos before, but I started telling you how the photo came. Now I've got to put it back because I took a little hiatus. But to talk about the photo, I've actually booked a wedding behind that. One of the couple said, we kind of saw you talking about the photo. We never seen it before.
Really?
We loved your story and we decided to hire you. And I was like, what? And I'm like, this is cool. Because you see a photo of a couple, but just like you guys asked me what happened. So I'm explaining that now. And I've never seen anybody do it. And so that's kind of helped me put a different spin on who I am and things like that. And I'm learning little tidbits from a lot of movers and shakers, people that I'm still doing. Like I got one guy, he's still shooting, even though it's a pandemic. You know, like if he before the pre-pandemic, he probably shot 45 weddings. In the pandemic, he probably shot 30. You know, after the pandemic, he's back up again. But it was like little small things he do where, you know, he may shoot the wedding, you know, edit some of them right then and there, give it to the planner and a couple the next day, you know, go on and edit as fast as possible. And it works for him, you know. So little tidbits I've learned to incorporate those to try to move from there, you know. And then I stay around networking with a lot of the guys that are active. You know, so the referral is like really cool. It's like, hey, I got 3 weddings coming up. You think you can second shoot with me? Yeah, let's do it. You know?
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you work with a lot of vendors in town too to try and referral wise too, like the different venues, the different I don't know, hair salons, the makeup people, flower people? Do you good networking going on with them?
I network, and I belong to a network, a group of like nothing but wedding vendors. Yep. But now again, me trying to phase out, I'm not trying to be out there so much, right? Because like, if you get with, you know, and I get it. If you get with maybe planners or floral people like that, they want to see more of that because that's how their work is shown, right? Definitely. It's just that I can shoot details and I can shoot them really well. It's just not a big. It's not my selling point. Right? I'd rather show humans and the human condition and reaction and things like that versus just showing some of the objects. But again, I don't take it away because that's how they move their business, and I have those images to show. But I don't network them too much. But you know, the wedding that I recently shot in Orlando, I did like a cool fade out with like the camera for the cake lady. I didn't know it was her. She was kind of shooting, and I said, "Why are you doing it that way?" I said, "Let me show you." And I took a camera and I did like a little fade out, and she was like, "Wow, that's amazing! Give me your card, give me information." I was like, "Oh, thank you."
So there's something to that, obviously. Yeah. I'm swiping that. I would have never thought. Good idea.
Like for instance, right here, this says chef. She's calling right now. So I'm shooting a chef this weekend, and it's different for me because I've shot people before, but she's a chef, and it's more we're shooting commercial plates and we're shooting some of her and things in a space that I've never been to before. So I'm coming the day before to figure it out. You know.
Yeah. Rob's done that.
Yeah, I know. Rob's. Please, I may go to NoBS and get some pointers from there.
So, what's your favorite lens? Short answer.
The one that works.
The one you have on your camera at the time.
Yeah, so I give you. I got a lot of stories. Quick story. I did a wedding, and my sister was at the church. I said, "Hey, follow us. I'm going to ride with the bride. Get to the church. He got lost. The only lens I had was a 35. That was all I had. I shot the entire everything with the 35. The portraits afterwards, the details, everything with the 35. And after that, I was like, I don't have to really stick to the 24-70. Like, I can't, like, you know, if I had to. I've shot whole engagement sessions with a 7200. Just, you know, ones that working at the time.
That's my favorite lens, my 7200.
Oh, my God. It's amazing. It's amazing.
So with the 35, it did a really good job for you. So for a while there, it became your favorite, didn't it?
Yeah, at first, yeah.
It's very
24-70 was a go-to.
The Coen brothers shoot the majority of their movies with a 35, 24 and 35.
Just see, Rob and James got me hooked on the 24 or the 70 to 200 because you used to do a lot of family portraits, everything with your 7200. And I love that. I stand back, zoom right out,
background.
Get that bokeh in the background there. It's beautiful.
Now, one of my favorite ones like that is the 135. The 135, I got to stand in Texas to shoot in the United States. When you nail it, it's really good. You just got to stand back super far.
That's a prime?
That's a prime, yeah. The 135 is gorgeous. Yeah.
Well, I have a 135 prime as well for my Sony mirrorless. I don't have many zooms anymore, but I miss the 70. I
love my nifty 50.
The 70 to 200. Yeah, the 55 on my Sony is unbelievably sharp.
But it's funny. We always preach the best glass is going to get you the best pictures. You should get the pro glass. But I have my Canon Nifty 50. It's not the bottom line that you get for like $150, and it's not the pro one that costs $2,000 or whatever. It's that one that's like that $500 1.4, and it's sharp as a tack. I love it. It's not considered a pro lens though.
Yeah. When I started, I used to at the time when I was married, my wife was like, "Wait, this 85 1.2, like you're renting this lens? How much is the rental?" I'm like, "Oh, the rental was $65." She's like, "Well, how much did you pay? How much did the client pay you? $100." Like, you know what you're talking about. This lens is the magic cannonball. This lens can do everything. X, Y, and Z. So I got back from the shoot and I'm like, she knows what you're talking about. Oh, man, this is sharp. This is sharp. This is sharp. Oh, this is great. I was like, let me see what lens this is. 24-70, 24-70, 24-70. And I was like, you know what? I looked at many times. I looked at many times, like I averaged using that 85 1.2. it's maybe like 6-7 times, and the rest was all something else. I was like, you know what? I don't have to be married to this thing that's the magic cannonball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear
It's
you.
a nice lens, but I don't have to marry it. You know.
All right, last question. John's got to go now, so we're going to have last question. What is your favorite movie?
Oh, my favorite movie. I'm going to have to say Casino.
Oh,
Nice.
Casino.
I never
Pretty
even would have thought of
dark.
that.
Yeah, I love that movie because it was one part where they were arguing, and he said he lost control. He said, "I lost control. I lost control." You stand there with a cigarette holder and a pink robe like John Barrymore, and I've lost control. It was
Yeah.
it was a great
All
movie.
right.
So we've got Shawshank Redemption and Casino, our last 2 episodes so far. So
Yeah, interesting. So
I love Shawshank.
that's
All right.
one of my favorite.
Yeah.
we're going to let you go now. So we'll have you back. I don't know. You
Please do. This was
All right,
amazing.
good. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. So we'll maybe hook you up again in about 6-7 months or so and catch up and see.
Maybe
what
he'll have
we're
more
up
boudoir to share with us by then.
to. We could talk about where
When
you're
I
going
do,
with
when I
that.
get it all together, I'll give you guys a chat and say, "Cool, let's do it." Yeah, definitely.
That would be amazing.
I like that. I like that.
All right. So we're at 2:09 there, John. You get to.
I still
head
got
in
time.
the car.
It's around the corner from my house. My house is about 10 minutes away. I got a real estate listing to shoot today because in Ontario, that's all we can do, basically. We can do outdoors up to 5 people, and stage 1 starts this Friday, so...
I have
Yep.
another buddy from Ontario. I like the way you guys say "out a house."
Out.
About.
About. I love
That's the
it.
thing. I never hear it.
Yeah,
I don't hear it, but I'll be sitting there talking to my phone. I'm trying to say something, and it'll spell like the way you
House.
guys think we say it. And it's like, come on, that can't be right. It must be an American phone.
I have friends from Baltimore, Maryland, and they're saying "to," "do," "you." And I'm like, dude, what is that? That's just the language. So I love it.
Well, I'm from Toronto, and everywhere else in the whole country and everywhere else in the States and the world, they all say Toronto. They pronounce every T. Where
Toronto.
we're from Toronto, it's just Toronto. You don't pronounce that last T. It's an N.
Yeah. Yeah.
Toronto.
That's
You
the
don't pronounce
giveaway. I
last
like
T.
that.
Toronto.
I'm from Toronto.
Yeah, that's how we say it.
Okay. Because before you told me that, I would have said Toronto.
Yeah, see, and
Yeah,
everybody, that's how, and it is that you say it the proper way. That's the way it is. But we just slang it more. We just, hey, I'm from Toronto.
Toronto.
Okay, so I'm from Newark, New Jersey. People say, "Oh, Newark, Newark." No, it's Newark. They're like Newark. No, it's Newark.
Same
It's
idea.
Newark.
Same
Yeah,
idea.
same thing.
Busting
All
my
right.
balls, man. Sorry.
John, you got to get out of here.
Yeah,
We're going to go down the rabbit hole.
I know. All right. Well, I'm glad you came. I learned a lot from you, man.
Oh man, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate
Take care.
it. This is cool.
All right. So
We'll stay in touch. All right. Thanks,
till
y'all.
next time.
All right, guys. Cheers.
See you later.
All right.